Hi guys, it's Emily, and today I'm here to bring you a pretty short video telling you what I'm gonna read for Nonfiction November. I normally don't do TBRs because I'm sort of like the person where I just pick up whatever I want to read, but I have been hearing about Nonfiction November and all over BookTube, and I recently started following Olive, one of the leaders of it, and so I'm going to try to participate this year. And there are 4 challenges that you can do, and I picked out 4 books to go with, one for each challenge. So the first challenge is fascinating, and for this book I picked The Empress of Ireland by Christopher Robbins, and this book is about a friendship that Christopher Robbins struck up with a famous Irish director. He was hired as a screenwriter for the director, and the director's name is Brian Desmond Hurst. And so I've always been fascinated by memoirs. I'm really interested in people's stories, and I've always been fascinated by Ireland and Irish culture and, all of that stuff. So I think this will be a very interesting read, and I just got it from the library, so I'm gonna read this and hopefully enjoy it quite a lot for the fascinating challenge. The next challenge is controversial, and for this book I'm going to read Razing Hell by Sharon L. Baker, and this has the subtitle of Rethinking Everything You've Been Taught About God's Wrath and Judgment. And of course I think the concept of hell is pretty controversial in itself, and also the flames on the cover can be pretty controversial. I was recommended this book by a campus minister of mine back in 2014, and I bought it with an Amazon gift card that I got for my birthday in 2014, and yet I've never read it. And so I've always been very interested in hell and, what hell is and what the Bible says about hell. And so I'm looking forward to diving into this and seeing what it says about hell and all the crazy stuff that goes with that. The next book, or the next topic, is important, and so I picked Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own, and I consider this to be important because it's a early feminist text. The whole thesis is that women could be just as famous as men and could write just as many books as men if they were given, the time and the space and the money and the room to do it. There's the famous story of how Jane Austen only wrote 6 books or 6 novels, and part of that is because she only could write them on her little writing desk in her living room, because she didn't really have a desk of her own or any space, and she'd always have to stop writing whenever someone came in. And it's compared to like Charles Dickens, who had this enormous desk and this enormous study, and it's always said like, well, if Jane Austen had her own room and her own study, would she have been as prolific as Charles Dickens? So I'm looking forward to this, and this is, of course, is very short, and so I don't think it'll take me that long to read. And I bought this in Nashville earlier in the year, so I'm looking forward to finally having read this. The last book I'm planning to read for Nonfiction November is for the topic of new, and this book is not new, but I just bought it in late September, and I'm pretty sure it's the last book I bought, and it's called Front Row at the White House, My Life and Times by Helen Thomas. And Helen Thomas is the first female reporter to be allowed to have a seat in the White House press office. And, I talked about before, I'm really fascinated by the White House and by presidents because, I don't know, I just find it a really fascinating part of history. And my dream job is actually to work at a presidential library, so anything and everything that has to do with the White House is something I'm interested in. And I'm especially interested in women breaking barriers and, fighting against sexism, and I'm interested in history, so this meets all of my interests, and because it's one of my newer books, it counts for the new prompts. And I'm really excited about this readathon because all of these books, except for Empress of Ireland, are books that have been on my shelf for a long time. And I'm just looking forward to getting some of them off of my shelf and read. I have 37 books on my shelf that I have not read. And I know a lot of people have a lot more than that, but to me that's a lot. And I don't like having so many on there, especially since I always want to go to the library and pick up things I found on BookTube or things that I've read about in the magazine or wherever I heard about them, and then I'm like, well, I should be reading books that I've owned, and like Razing Helen I've had since 2014 and I've never read it, and I just think it's really important for me to get some of those off my TBR and off of my shelf or into the red part of my shelf, the red section. So anywho, I'm rambling, but I'm looking forward to Nonfiction November, and I'm looking forward to interacting with everyone. I've already joined the Goodreads group and made my post about what I'm going to read. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'll talk to y'all later, and I'll have my wrap up later this week. Probably on like Thursday or something. We'll see. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!